Hey guys, Jay-Sensei here again. This can be what if Naruto was born as a Demon King. Now, honestly, I was just bored and I've been watching a lot of Demon King anime recently, so I just got a lot of different abilities that I think off the top of my head from different Demon Kings in said anime. I got Anos, I got Rimuru, I got Ainzul Gon, I got Albedo, I got a few more, but yeah. So, in this one, let's say the reason Naruto's a Demon King is due to the fact that, like, when Minato used the Reaper Death Seal, well, the Reaper had needed. Let's say the Reaper is the King of Hell, and we know there's a version of Hell as they name people after. I mean, they name things after the idea of Hell. So let's say that the Reaper is the King of Hell, and he had seen the value of Naruto's body. So when Minato had passed away, the Reaper had lingered around, and when Naruto's seal was opened to allow Kurama in, the Reaper had seeped into Naruto's chakra reserves. And due to him seeping into Naruto's chakra, he seeped into Naruto's, soul. But due to Naruto being so pure, he had ended up going on to, basically kind of overtake the Reaper. The Reaper still lingered as kind of like an apparition now, but there's really no actual spirit and stuff like that. Kind of just like how Hagoromo came down as a spirit, he was in a physical body. The Reaper kind of does that now. And he tried something, he failed, so. So with this, when Naruto's born, he's born with with infinite chakra, but he just assumes he has so much, it can't be sensed. And also it's kind of weird for him, but still he doesn't really mind it. But we continue moving, and we continue moving until we get to about, I'm going to say when Naruto's about 5 years old, or probably 4. When he's 4, he was trying to give Naruto his own apartment and put him in the academy because he didn't know what to do with Naruto. So now that Naruto's forward in the academy, well, Hiruzen kind of got notified by Iruka within Naruto's first week. Well, not by Iruka, but by someone. Within Naruto's first week, Hiruzen was wondering why someone's coming and talking about Naruto as one of the current teachers. And he mentioned that Naruto had graduated. And at this point, Naruto's 4. Okay. So this point, when Naruto was 4 years old, he got the academy. At this point, I don't know how to phrase this. Well, Hiruzen doesn't really have a team for Naruto. There's really no one around his age graduating. Closest they got for open team is Itachi, and that's for an Anbu squad, but he refuses. So with this, he actually decides to actually keep giving Naruto rent money, but tells Naruto that you're going to be doing missions to help people out around the village, and I'll be giving you scrolls with your rent money to learn certain jutsu. This goes on for about, let's say like the academy, I'm going to use the American school system, just like when it usually starts, so about like around August, September, between those months. I'm going to go with September because that's what my school does. So, in September, Naruto is 4. He's... Yeah, never mind, we'll go different, because Naruto would be 3 when he enters the academy, not 4. Or he'd be turning 5. Well, actually, no, we can go with him turning 5. So, Naruto graduated just before his 5th birthday. Then after about, like, let's say 5 months, he was given Naruto rent money and a few different scrolls. These scrolls were skills that could allow Naruto to achieve the basic skills of an average genin. It was basic taijutsu techniques, how to use a clone, transformation, all those kind of jutsu. And here's the check on Naruto. After about 5 months, he's like, hey, this could be... I'm going to check on him, see how he does. So he goes to check on Naruto. And as he goes to check on Naruto, well, he sees Naruto cleaning his house, but he sees 5 Narutos. And she does intrigue him, and he says, Naruto, what jutsu is this? And Naruto mentions, oh, it's Shadow Clone Jutsu. I kind of like all the scrolls you gave me when I learned, not long after. Like, the moment I started practicing them, I learned the jutsu. It wasn't that hard. As Naruto's probably the greatest prodigy in the universe has ever seen. As with the Rinnegan, Nagato can use all 5 natures pretty effectively after recently learning them. Pause. Okay. So here's when kind of realizing that Naruto can use every jutsu he has, but on a more evolved scale. As when it comes to like clone jutsu, it's usually just an illusion of a clone. But Naruto makes probably he makes shadow clones. He makes hundreds of them with one hand seal. So it's mostly Shadow Clone Jutsu, and he doesn't even need a proper hand tool to use it. He just literally puts one hand up, and then, boom, hundreds of clones. when it comes to like he doesn't even give Naruto a nature release test. But Naruto would smirk as he channels chakra into the four corners and the center. One corner begins burning, one corner begins crumbling, one corner begins shriveling up, one corner is cut off, another corner turns to dust. Or not one other corner, the center turns to dust. Naruto is just using every nature by will into the four main points of the paper, the four corners and the center, which he isn't surprised by and tells Naruto, so you have control over all five natures. Naruto says, yeah, and the yin and yang release, and I can combine them to yin yang release, which isn't too hard. Like, see, watch this. He put his hands together and immediately recreated the paper, but it was the size of an actual sheet of paper. And this is Naruto displaying the ability to use creation of all things, which Kurama knew Naruto was creative, but he'd never paid attention until now, where he saw Naruto utilize creation of all things by will. So he immediately realized that Naruto might be like the reincarnation of the sage, but then his body is too similar to Ashura, not the sage. Like, Naruto's being showing off new abilities to the point where even Hiruzen is just like, I don't know what to do with you now, because should I just give you different scrolls? And Naruto says, just give me whatever you want, I frankly don't care. So after those words, after next time, Hiruzen starts giving Naruto scrolls for basic Joniness and Naruto's basic Jonin skills. But he actually sits around and watches Naruto from the shadows, not knowing that Naruto could actually sense him. Naruto can sense the entire continent. But if you don't know, the Naruto universe takes place on one continent and the moon. It's kind of just the main basis for it. Well, and dimension. We have more knowledge of different dimensions in the entire Narutoverse world, because it takes place on one continent. I don't get how the world works in Naruto. Like, Land of Fire is a country, the Land of Thunder is a country, Land of Wind is a country. Screw it. But, still. Hiruzen would watch Naruto, and after getting the scroll for about 5 minutes, Naruto would practice and immediately master it to its full capability, the point where Naruto had learned, well, just any basic jutsu he wanted. By the time that Naruto was about 5 years old, Hiruzen literally ran out of scrolls to give Naruto, except for one scroll. The scroll of sealing. At this point, he had called in Jiraiya and Kakashi, as those are the only two people who have a say in what could go on with Naruto's life. Kakashi had a connection to Minato, and Jiraiya is Naruto's godfather. When I hear what Hiruzen told him, he's like, I've given him every proper scroll in the village I could get my hands on, except for the scroll of sealing, because the only one I have left that he can learn. And Jiraiya's like, are you serious? And immediately Hiruzen's like, yeah, he's learned all basic Genin and Chunin and Jonin skills. I'm talking about they're advanced. I've given him Anbu scrolls. I've given him root scrolls. I've given him everything I've given him old scrolls from Orochimaru, and he's learned those. Point where even Jiraiya is like, all right, even dove into Orochimaru's research. He may actually have to use the scroll of healing to get this kid just to see where his limits are. This is more or less of seeing how far can they push Naruto, not why can't I teach him more. They want to see where his limits will be, and they think it's going to be with wood release. They're very much wrong. As they all decide to give Naruto scroll of healing, but they kind of write down everything else in a different scroll and give it to Naruto. So as Naruto begins using the scroll of healing, here's some watch Naruto, and the thing is, Naruto just made one clone for every jutsu, and every clone pulls off the jutsu masterfully in one go. At this point Naruto is 5, he's about to turn 6. If I said earlier, I'm sorry. If I said different than that, I'm sorry. But he's 5, he's about to turn 6. And he's already gone through every village in the leaf. Or every scroll in the leaf, except for this one right here. But here's watching Naruto basically master every jutsu in the scroll of healing in one go, including the flying Raijin and the Rasengan. Even Jiraiya and Kakashi are watching this in amazement. Edo Tensei, he learns it. And he just reincarnates a random dead villager. So with this, well, Hiruzen qualifies Naruto as the most knowledgeable shinobi in the leaf. And Hiruzen's like, my title's a professor for knowing most jutsu. Most, not all of them. Naruto, if I'm the professor, he's the dean. Jesus. Hiruzen just slumps down and puts his head in his hands, wondering what to do with Naruto. And Jiraiya then thinks, well, he's learned every jutsu in the leaf. What else can I do? Like, what else can you do here for him? And Hiruzen's like, nothing. All the scrolls contain average schooling and jutsu. And Jiraiya just mentions, alright, I'm taking him then. I can bring him around the world. Okay. So, with this, Jiraiya would approach Naruto about a few hours later and tell Naruto who he is. And Naruto simply says, oh yeah, I've heard of you, you're Jiraiya the Gallant. And immediately Jiraiya's like, Jiraiya the Gallant, that's what they call me. And Naruto just kind of shrugs, saying, yeah, you're one of the Sani, and everyone knows you. At least everyone with a head on their shoulders. You're also the great sage of Mamiboku. Immediately Jiraiya just can't help but almost just tear up at how much titles Naruto's giving him. And Naruto's just being honest, he's a kid. He looks at everything with a lens of just praise towards great shinobi. It's his dream. So Jiraiya's kind of tearing up and looks in the bushes. As Hiruzen sees that Naruto immediately pulled Jiraiya's heartstrings, and Jiraiya tells Naruto, "I'll be taking you at Konoha. Me and you are going to see the world, Naruto." Naruto just shrugged, saying, "Okay." And immediately Jiraiya just told Naruto, "Pack all your bags, we're going to leave now." And Naruto immediately just snapped, and all those bags were in front of him, and Jiraiya almost fell over just because that was so sudden. And Naruto simply says he doesn't have much, honestly, just a lot of ramen and a lot of clothes. And Jiraiya said, understandable. So with this, Naruto and Jiraiya leave, and Jiraiya brings Naruto to multiple villages, just small ones. And first one he stops by is actually Amagakure. At this point, the Akatsuki is not founded, I believe. But still, we have Nagato going down a dark path, still. But while Jiraiya is here, it's just honestly because he picks up a new student, and they're traveling, the point is you just honestly travel. So on Amagakure, Jiraiya is able to actually find his old house, and find all the old jutsu he had taught the Ame orphans. So he helps Naruto learn those jutsu. And when Conan's even watching Jiraiya from the distance, he notices he has a new pupil, a Jinchuriki. The thing is, the Jinchuriki's overflowing the chakra. They're watching him, Conan is watching Naruto train. So was Nagato. They realize that Nagato. Well, they realize that Naruto's probably about as good as a genius as Nagato is. As when it comes to just giant jutsu like water release, he's learning it in one go, and he's terraforming the landscape. Which immediately surprises Nagato, saying that someone with raw intellect can contend the abilities that the Rinnegan grants. Hold up. Okay, so after a bit, Nagato continues to watch Naruto, but eventually would send some ninja over, and they mention hey, this is honors from the leader of the Hidden Rain. As Nagato sends over high-level jutsu, just because he wants to see how far Naruto can be pushed. At one point, he threw in a jutsu that was Rinnegan's specific ability, was Almighty Push and Almighty Pull. And Naruto was trying to do the way the Rinnegan could be used, and Jiraiya didn't know this. He wasn't aware of all Rinnegan abilities. He was aware of the Rinnegan itself, not everything it could do. So with this, when he saw that Naruto wanted to try the Almighty Push, he's like, I can do that, are you sure you want to try it? And Naruto's response is, it's just contorting space to pull and push. Can't be too hard. And Naruto would successfully hold out his hand, then immediately push. As he pushed, he immediately destroyed the entire nearby landscape, probably about 30 acres. And that was just one almighty push point where Nagato was just baffled. And immediately Konan was like, he's doing Rinnegan abilities with no Rinnegan. And Naruto would even display the ability to use water release and rebuild the entire forest. Actually, he actually starts reforming the Hidden Rain because he mentions, at least it's always rainy, why don't I give it some plants? So for fun, Naruto just gave the entirety of the Hidden Rain plant life. And with this, more animals came. Certain animals came by and actually made the Hidden Rain a habitable place. Which was kind of weird. But still, Naruto mentioned that just for fun, this kid made the Hidden Rain look good. And also, you start going around collecting recipes for different ramen chops because, Taichi could use them. But for the next few years, and probably until Naruto's about 13, at this point it's been a few months. He's 6 years old already, and about the next 7 years, Naruto and Jiraiya travel around the ninja world, learning more and more jutsu. Now, some villages don't really want to let Jiraiya in, but a few of them can detect the Naruto's Jinchuriki. But whenever they try to send ninja after Naruto, they end up disappearing and then reappearing a few days later. No one knows what happened to Ninja. Ninja just mentioned oh no, I was tracking and I was hit, and then nothing for a few days. I woke up really hungry and really thirsty, and nothing, and no secrets had gotten out. They just think that Naruto and Jiraiya hit them really hard, and then they were knocked into a coma. But Naruto basically learned all he did is get ramen recipes and ninjutsu. By the time Naruto came back, well, he's developed different abilities. I'm going to go over all of Naruto's abilities, honestly, because I can. It's probably going to take a minute or two, so skip forward to 18 minutes. Not just 4 minutes, skip forward to 17, 18. But yeah. Now Naruto would have mastery over the 5 elements, the ability to use energy, ability to use light, even though you consider light energy, and the ability to just control nature itself. Then he can control his appearance and transform it to basically like he can control himself to look like a bird, kind of like what Mahito does, kind of like that, but then on a much larger scale. Then he can unlock people's potential, like he's Guru from Dragon Ball, but he also can just use his own potential and give it to other people. Then he can fuse people or objects together, kind of like that one quirk from My Hero Academia. He fused like one guy fused a tracker to a Nomu. No, not can do that. And flat out fuse people into a whole different being, kind of like Dragon Ball fusion. So literally just fusing objects together as in a literal sense, or it's just like a spiritual sense where 2 people are combined into one new being. So, yeah. Okay. Then he can possess people, which also can kind of fall under him being able to use mind control, hypnosis, and really strong illusions to the point where his regular illusions are like infinite Tsukuyomi. Then he can enhance his allies, which I kind of mentioned as like giving them his potential. Then he can regenerate to the point where basically he has like regeneration above Deadpool. Point where like he can be turned to dust and just reform if there's atoms left. If you can destroy a head's atoms, then he doesn't come back. So yeah. Then he can also heal people, and his lifespan is just much longer by hundreds of thousands of millennia. So, or probably about billions, because demons are supposed to live a long time. But yeah. Also, he has enhanced physicality by as a default, as everything about him is a little over continental at this point. Everything about him is over continental. Then his speed makes him like his IQ is nearly omniscient. Then his speed is nearly omnipresent. So, which is how fast and smart he is. Then he's immune to being affected by elements and climates, which makes him immune to most of the abilities in the Naruto-verse. But then also he's just more or less immune to being poisoned, which also includes he can't get drunk or just can't get poisoned at all, which actually makes him immune to the entire arsenal of Naruto. So, only thing you can do is stab him, and if you stab him, that means you can destroy a continent in one stab. Impressive. So, yeah. Also, if you guys skip forward to this point, I'm sorry, but your mind's going to skip forward a few more minutes. He can teleport, he can fly, he can pause time, but he can also make a barrier that freezes things in time. Then, back to barriers, he can create barriers of any element, any energy. He can make barriers that just reflect kinetic energy. He can have energy blast, he has telekinesis, reflection, he can just reflect attacks back at you, and he has some control over gravity. Then he has an ability very similar to Beerus that he just calls Hakai, and it literally just, it's absolute erasure is what it is. It just erases everything absolutely. Then he can project his aura like Dragon Ball Z, and he can just have astral projection where he just has his spirit roam around, which he usually just does for recon. Kind of like Brook from One Piece, it's just that he can't be seen. And then he can bend space and time pretty easily, actually. That's kind of how he used Almighty Push. He just literally bent space and time to flatten an entire area. Then he actually learned to do Almighty Push on his own. So, yeah. And then, kind of like Rimuru, where he can basically just give people titles and a lot more stuff like that. Like, he can basically just name his allies or give them titles. He's already given Jiraiya a title. No, can also summon named allies. He basically summon them like they're animals. Or kind of summon animals, where he basically like summon a how he summons Gamabunta, he can summon Jiraiya. So, yeah. He can also copy any ability. Like, literally any ability. Like, he can look at you, if you have a Sharingan activated, his eyes can turn into a Sharingan. So, yeah. Then he has creation of all things, which just allows him to create anything, including living life. Like, he can just create a dog out of nowhere. Then he has sensory abilities, so he can sense anything across the Naruto universe, to the point where Kurt Naruto's 13 years old can sense Momoshiki a galaxy away. So, yeah. Then he can nullify all abilities if they have a chance of harming him, which they don't. He's even immune to Senjutsu. Speaking of Senjutsu, he's a master sage of all kinds, including Jiraiya, who's mastered Snake and Toad Sage mode. So yeah. But if you guys are wondering about Jiraiya's title, Jiraiya's title is known as the Eldest Sage, as Jiraiya was given a complete omniscience of the Naruto continent. Like, he basically knows everything about the continent and much more. But also, he has control over all nature energy. So, if you guys want to know what I mean by control over nature, it's the point where Jiraiya is like, he has access to all 5, or just to all nature releases in Naruto, and all combinations of them, but also he has the ability to more or less, like, he can communicate with animals and stuff like trees, plants, like, he can communicate with all forms of what you consider nature. Your grass, he can communicate with that. Your trees can communicate with that, communicate with animals. So things like that. So, yeah. So the point where Jiraiya is basically probably, if I were to put Jiraiya he doesn't have full control over his abilities just yet, but at the level he is right now, he's probably a bit above most characters except for Madara and Hashirama. I'd probably compare him to like full power Hashirama currently. I'd give him that, but until he can, his full potential probably put him comparable to adult Naruto. That'd be the full power of his abilities. So yeah. This mainly due to his age. If he was younger, he'd be much above that. But still, when Naruto and Jiraiya return to Konoha, Naruto's 13 years old, and the first thing Naruto does is he runs to Ichiraku Ramen with an entire notebook for Teiuchi. Teiuchi would actually ask Naruto what the notebook is, and Naruto tells him, read it. And Teiuchi would read it. And he says, ramen recipes from all across the world, and you're comparing them to mine. Guess my ramen is the best, but there are notes for me. Thank you, Naruto. As he pats Naruto on the head and begins actually looking through a book to find materials, or just ingredients. Then Naruto himself goes back to Jiraiya, and here's him bring Naruto to the academy the day teams are being assigned. So when Naruto gets to the academy, well, while he's there, Naruto would begin basically So if you guys want to know more about Mizuki, due to Naruto's just control and understanding of nature, Mizuki just probably, I can say that Naruto probably had a tree just trip Mizuki, and then he was caught by Iruka. But when Naruto was brought in the classroom, everyone's like wondering, oh, Naruto, is no one besides Shikamaru and Toji knew who Naruto was, and even then he was a friend to them by the time they were 4 to 5. He was a friend for a year, and that was it. But while Naruto was interested in class, Jiraiya would wave about at Naruto, and actually only one person recognized who that was. Let's say it was like Iruka, and he actually tells Naruto, or tells the class, Naruto, was that the great Toad Sage Jiraiya? And Naruto kind of shrugs, saying, yeah, he's my godfather. And immediately everyone realized that Naruto was trained by one of the greatest shinobi ever. So they found that very impressive. But when they asked who team he's going to be on, and he mentions he's going to be on Team 7, just because they have the most potential. Not most, they didn't say potential out loud, but he mentions he mentioned that Sasuke just their lineage mainly. But yeah. Well, Sasuke's lineage, Sakura's intelligence, and Naruto's skill. Kind of just the best trio. And after that, we should move on to just Sasuke telling Naruto, don't slow him down. And Naruto says, that's Sakura, not me. As he mentions that Sakura is the only one who hasn't been trained greatly. As he says he was trained by basically the greatest shinobi ever. Sasuke had basic Uchiha training, and then Sakura is just Sakura. Sakura got a bit annoyed, but Naruto wasn't wrong, which did make her a bit more sad. Which Sasuke couldn't help but laugh that Naruto's statement was so blatant but obvious and true. But Naruto actually talked to them, asking them what they learned here. And when they go over what they learned, he immediately just frowned, saying, oh, you guys are going to be so weak. And Sasuke just gets a bit annoyed, replying with hey, what do you mean weak? I'm strong. I'm Uchiha. And Naruto just mentioned, can you even walk on walls? Sasuke says, walk on walls? That's not possible. Only for Naruto being walking on a wall and say, easy, basic shinobi skill. And Sakura actually asked him to explain it. He explained it. She immediately just copied it, walking up the wall and meeting Naruto in the middle, saying, tricky, but I can do it. She fell off the roof and landed on her feet on the ground, creating a small crack in the wood. And Sasuke did need help, but pretty easily, Naruto would just use his ability and use some of his abilities to pretty easily control Sasuke's chakra. It's mainly mind control, but it worked. Then he kept making Sasuke's brain repeat that feeling until Sasuke could do it on his own without Naruto influencing him. As Naruto just kept talking to Sasuke while he was walking, and then it worked. But then when Naruto didn't talk to him, well, he couldn't do it. So, yeah. Uh, Pause. Okay. So, after a bit of just Naruto basically having Sasuke's brain get used to Naruto's influence, Sasuke could eventually be able to use chakra control on his own and walk around. And Naruto tells them next time they go near a pond, he's going to teach them to water walk, which actually makes them pretty happy. After some while, Kakashi would walk in. There's no prank, and Naruto tells him, "Oh, you're Kakashi Hatake, the legendary copy ninja." And Sasuke's like, what do you mean by copy ninja?" And immediately Kakashi has to explain the Sharingan when he didn't want to, but Naruto ratted him out, so he had to explain it. And then yeah, one of my teammates used to have a Sharingan was Uchiha. He died, and so it didn't fall in enemy hands. He gave it to me when I lost my eye in a fight. So yeah, but we just move on, and we move on to just the roof where they ask the likes and dislikes. And Naruto doesn't really trust him to be, as he's not really going to be focused on being open with them. So when it gets to him, he immediately just just hypnotize them to make them think he said something, but he didn't. But after this, the next day is the bell test. But Naruto actually asked them, "Do you guys want to practice water walking now?" And Sakura said, "Yeah, she has nothing better to do." And Sasuke would just say, "Sure." So he brings them to the lake that Sasuke would actually practice his tribal jutsu. Naruto wasn't aware it was an Uchiha compound, or pretended he wasn't aware of it. He mentioned there's a hole in the gate that he used to go through it to train the water. But he achieved him how to water walk, and Sakura got it pretty easily, and Sasuke got it as well. But there's one thing I'm going to go over because I don't think I ever mentioned it. Now, if you guys want to know about Kurama, Naruto does have Kurama, true. But the thing is, Kurama is much more powerful for this. Because Naruto would just forcefully open the gate with raw strength. And once the gate's open, he would fight Kurama and just one-tap Kurama because he's able to do that. Yeah, physically he's only about probably continental or multi-continental, but he has control over energy, and using kinetic energy and potential energy, just one big blast of it was able to knock out Kurama. So he's already mastered all of Kurama's powers. He just doesn't have Sage Energy. Well, he does have KCM because it's just Sage mode and Kurama's power combined. So he has KCM 1 and 2. But also, guys wondering about Minato and Kushina. Due to Naruto's immense control over basically every force in the world, they're able to just stick around in his mindscape. But also, due to him befriending Kurama over time, all he did is just give Kurama a name. And Kurama's name is the Walking Calamity. And the ability that Kurama got from being named the Walking Calamity is hit the ability to every calamity on Earth. The abilities of Madara Uchiha, All-Tailed Beasts, Hagoromo, Kaguya, Hamura, and Chibai Osatsuki. Those are 6 calamities simply because they've done the most to the Earth in positive and negative ways. Hagoromo just honestly allowed ninjutsu to exist, which I view as a calamity. Then Hamura, same thing. Those two allowed, Hamura and Hagoromo just allowed ninjutsu to exist, so I view them as calamities. Kaguya is Kaguya, so calamity. Then the Tailed Beasts, the calamities. Madara, calamity. So on and so forth. So all of them, Kurama has their abilities, just not their appearance. He has the abilities of the Rinnegan, the Tenseigan, all of that. But he just does not have the eyes. And then he has all Shinjutsu abilities. But when Kurama's size is even the size of 2 Ten-Tails combined. So he's huge. And the thing is, Naruto just used a really strong genjutsu to the point where it's beyond basically Yomi. To allow Kurama and Minato to live in a world resembling Kurama's past. Kurama lives in a permanent era of Hagoromo, where there's no Indra and Ashura feud, none of that. It's literally just the perfect time where Kurama was not persecuted, hated, or anything like that. And Minato and Kushina live around him as just his retainers. So yeah, that's kind of what they do. They live on this old era, and Minato goes around learning everything that he can. And this is very accurate to what the world was. Only thing that's different is people's opinions on Kurama. That's all that's different. So that's all it is. So Kurama's living in bliss. Minato and Kushina are living in bliss too. It's fun. And Naruto also has mastered every version of a Rasengan possible. You can imagine a Naruto versus combo of a Rasengan, and he's learned it. So yeah. Also, Baryon mode, he's used it just for training, and it doesn't kill Kurama because he doesn't let it. It can bring Kurama back. But yeah, back to story. So for the entire day, Naruto would be teaching Sasuke and Sakura skills for basic shinobi. and being able to actually forcibly awaken Sasuke's Sharingan by just strong hypnosis to make him see his clan die again and again, and then Sharingan. He's honestly using a lot of mind control to influence Sasuke. It's just all he needs to do. But after doing that, we should move on to the next day, where it's the bell test. Naruto encouraged since Kakashi was going to be late, so he encouraged him to stop by somewhere to eat. Sakura would stop by her house, as they ended up sleeping in the training ground. So Sakura went to her house to eat Sasuke. Sasuke had gone home as well, and Naruto just went to Ichiraku to eat. But if you guys are curious about Naruto's height, he's actually a bit taller than Sasuke by about 2 inches. So, yeah. But Naruto, he would eat his food, he would at Ichiraku, say goodbye to Teiuchi and his daughter, then leave. It means at training ground, they arrive right as Kakashi, as their food had already settled on their way there. He realizes that they knew he was going to be late. He kind of found that funny. So, when he went to say start, in Naruto's mind, he would hear Minato explain that this is going to be about teamwork. As Naruto already had a hint on what it was, as he's done the bell test before, as he's put himself on Minato's level to see what he could do in the bell test. And he does realize the bell test is about teamwork. He did it the first time. Minato just reminded him. Also, due to him having Kushina around and him having so much chakra and the ability to control it so well, he's been able to use all Uzumaki abilities, including Uzumaki chains, in the mindset of Kagura, so on and so forth. But with this, when it starts, Naruto would actually use an Uzumaki chain to send Kakashi flying back. Then they would teleport Sasuke and Sakura somewhere to hide from Kakashi while they talk and form a plan. Then Naruto began mentioning something, that he thinks this is not about the bells, it's about working together. Sasuke and Sakura don't really believe this until he mentions, we're put on 3-man teams for a reason. He doesn't have the authority to just disband a team because of one person. He could, but it'd be ineffective, and he knows that. Plus, there's a nickname he used to have as Friend Killer Kakashi, so I don't think he'd want someone to leave. I think it'd just be more or less he'd train us to be better. Someone can be weak, but they have to at least work with the team. We mentioned with Kakashi's past and possible opinions, there's no way he'd agree to kick one person off the team because they messed up. So with this, they have the idea to work together just to see what Kakashi would think. And pretty quickly, he made a strategy for everyone, and they followed it pretty effectively. So with this, Sasuke, Sakura, and Naruto fight Kakashi. They have a perfect strategy, and Naruto's just holding back as much as he possibly can by putting himself on Kakashi's level, and it's hard for him to do that, but he's doing it. But as they fight, eventually Kakashi would stop the fight halfway through and just say, "Okay, you guys passed, good job." Then he hands them the bells. And as Naruto, he can just get extra lunch if he needs to. As he hands Naruto some money. So Naruto walks away, grabs the lunchbox, and just takes the money to buy more ramen. So, yeah. So with this, we fast forward about a month and a half. Sasuke had been training with Kakashi with the Sharingan, and Sakura had been training as hard as she possibly could. At this point, Naruto had given them titles as well, because Sakura had high potential, but she was going to be hard to unlock. So the first thing he did is unlock her potential. After it was unlocked, he decided to give her a name because her potential had just skyrocketed again once it was unlocked. Then he did the same thing for Sasuke and Kakashi, giving the three of them titles within the first few months of knowing them, simply because he admired them. He doesn't have an idea of what he should do with his powers. He just knows he wants to use them any way he wants. So, yeah. But Kakashi is called the Hero of Thunder, Sasuke is the Crimson Avenger, and Sakura is the Cherry Ogre. Simply because she called Naruto a name once, so she's an ogre to him now. But Kakashi's ability is called Purified Chakra, where basically his chakra is as pure as it can be, but also his abilities, due to his chakra being pure, his levels are a lot higher. His chakra levels are almost everything about this Kakashi turns into DMS Kakashi level. He has two Mangekyos, but also the Kami abilities are all in one eye. But then his other eye has a whole separate ability. The eye with a new ability is the Purified Chakra. What Purified Chakra does is it basically alters the power and color of your abilities. Kakashi's lightning abilities are no longer blue or purple; they're more yellowish. Then his water instead of being just a dark shade of blue, it's very transparent. It's very transparent and light blue. The wind jutsu are all green. The fire's more blue, so on and so forth. He says those kinds of abilities. The power of them is just amped up. And Sasuke's ability is maximized evolution, where he grows at 10 times his speed. By the time he's currently by the time he's 13, where he is now in the story, his chakra levels are are super high. The point where he's probably about as strong as he is in the fight against Itachi. So he's about that level. And then Sakura, her ability is just her chakra and strength are pushed their physical limits. Where she's actually above Sasuke right now. Physically, she's on the same level as War Arc Tsunade. So yeah. I guess Sakura's comparable to War Arc Tsunade, and she's 13. So that's pretty impressive. But well, I'm gonna pause this part here. Just how strong everyone is, and you guys can probably imagine what the story's gonna be like in the future. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Like and subscribe for more. Adios.